Welcome to Ecom Geeks, where we answer your Shopify questions, review your site, and give away free resources to help improve your store. Speaking of which, make sure you stay tuned until the end of the video for this week's freebie. If you have a question or a site you'd like reviewed, you can do so on our website. Your question or store could be featured next. Also, make sure to subscribe to be notified when we post new content. Now, onto today's video. Today we're going to be reviewing the store by Body Care. They were looking for some help with their sales, and let's just take a look to see what we can do. So if you go to their homepage, everything is actually very professionally done, which is great. I checked a number of the different links that they have. Everything seems mostly in order. There's a couple things, however, that we can improve on. So first things first, you've got a lot on your homepage. There's a lot going on here. Some of the things are useful, so it's stating about your brand and increases your awareness that way. However, there are just random products just put on the homepage there. It's okay to have a couple of those, but it starts to get really clogged up and people have to scroll a lot of the way just to get to the bottom. So there's a lot going on. You might want to take out some of these sections. Maybe just put your top selling product or two, or make your top selling product or two part of one of these minor sections where it's talking a little bit more about what makes you unique. Another thing on the homepage is that some of your images are not high enough quality. I noticed that with this slideshow here, you can start to see pixelation on a lot of the images just because they need to be higher quality. Taking a look at one of your products, for example, the peppermint exfoliating cleanser, I decided to look at some of your SEO optimization. So if we look at the meta description here, you've got a lot going on. And there's a lot of really great keywords in there, but it's not exactly useful 100% to the user. Also, it's a fairly long meta description. Typically, you want to keep this down to around 100 characters. If someone were to look this up on Google, this is what they would see here. So the whole second half of what you're trying to say is completely cut out. I might suggest doing something more simple, such as what I've written up here. So you can see that now if someone were to see this on Google, they would see a much more concise description that includes all of the keywords that you're hoping to keep in there, but also makes more sense to a human while still having those keywords in there for your search engine optimization. So I might recommend that. The other parts of the SEO seemed fairly decent. Going back to the store now, one thing I noticed, so this is really well organized, which is great, but it seems like for each of your different collections, most of them just have one or two products, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, you're making sure that whatever collection you're going to, your customers are going to, that is the correct product for that. However, I find that these product images are huge. They are massive. So if we just click and go to all your products, I mean, it's massive. It's very hard to see more than 3 products at a time. I mean, if this window were a different scale, you might just see 1 or 2 products at a time. It's up to you, but it can make a difference. The other thing that I've noticed is that you only get the pricing of your products after you hover over it. Now, that could be intentional, that could be non-intentional, but for things on sale, it'd be really nice to have those numbers actually showing up as opposed to only showing up when you're actually hovering over things. So going to your blog page, these seem awesome. It's great. You can see a short description as well as a little bit more about what's going on. The images are great. It looks a lot better. For marketing, it seems like everything's well set up. I checked all the links here at the bottom and all of them seem to be functioning correctly, which is great. What I would say in terms of increasing your sales, look at some of your meta descriptions, because some of those need to be updated. Make sure that your site is properly registered with Google Analytics so that you can do that sort of thing. If those are all done, try to tailor your brand to a more specific clientele because this is a very, very competitive uh, type of business. Like the health and beauty is extremely competitive. So if you want to break that barrier, you're going to need to do definitely a lot of campaigning. You might want to do some in-person things with some business cards just to build your brand in that regard. Because online there are so many different products to sell from. So you can do a certain amount with SEO, with marketing, with word of mouth, but you really want to start to reach out to that specific clientele that you're hoping to reach out to. So make sure that you're using all the different sales channels that Shopify has available for you. So things like Facebook Marketplace, a whole bunch of things. You can also pay other stores or other vendors to have a buy button on their site for your products. So if they are a distributor or they specialize on beauty products or whatnot, I would say give that a go. You can also try and pair up with a YouTube channel that does reviews on different products in terms of beauty products. That's a great way of getting brand awareness out there. So overall, the website seems pretty well set up. Like I said, there's a couple of those tips there, and then the rest is SEO and marketing. So there's my review. Like I said, make sure that you use all the sales channels that Shopify provides to you for free. Just make sure that you utilize them to the best of your ability. Before you go, don't forget to head over to our website to claim this week's freebie. While you're there, feel free to submit a question or a link to your store for us to review. Your question or site could be featured next. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next week.